Okay, so let's give you a proper intro. Alex Hughes is the co-founder of CENTRL Office, based in, Seattle? Yes.
Portland.
Portland. Wrong state, wrong everything. Okay. Portland, born and raised in Oregon, I presume. Somehow went from bachelor's degree in journalism to real estate. And you guys have been doing this for 10 years. And you have locations in lots of LA locations, Seattle, Portland, and so Oregon, California, and Washington. Awesome.
West Coast?
Well, yeah, totally. Gio, you start.
Sure. What's your title?
He's a co-founder.
Chief Badass. Yeah, I'm pretty allergic to titles. Everyone in the company hates it. Like, well, what do I do here? And it's good to have titles, I guess.
Who's in charge? Who's in charge of the team? Is that you?
I guess me. Yeah. So I just know co-founder.
Yeah. Got it. Wait, what's your co-founder's name?
Mysterious. So.
Yeah, totally. Wait, what's your co-founder's name?
Jeff Arthur.
I know. I haven't seen Jeff I know. That's why I was like, I haven't seen Jeff in a long time.
Oh yeah, he's always around.
Okay.
He works a lot. He works a lot on. He's had a lot of development projects over the years, and then it's how we first met. And then he scouts a lot of the new locations. So we have.
Okay. So he's the new location guy, and you're or how do you divide up your responsibilities?
He's less active day to day in the business.
Okay.
And then we're always he does this on this one, I do that on that one, mix and match.
Okay. You have to keep it fresh.
Yeah, we're interchangeable.
Ooh, okay.
Here we are. Jamie and I are excited to have Alex Hughes, who is allergic to titles. So we're made him the co-founder / executive officer with having the title, but he is exactly the day-to-day operations for CENTRL Office. So I'm excited to have you on with us, Alex.
Thanks.
Where are you coming from?
If you think I have anything interesting to say about Coworking, but I'm going to give it a shot.
You do. We're going to draw it out of you. We're ready.
We believe.
We believe in you.
You're serious.
Totally.
Yeah.
So where are you zooming in from today?
I'm in Portland, I think. Yeah, I go back and forth to LA a lot.
Okay. Tell us what's happening in LA and what your model is today. Are you also all management agreements all the time?
So we are now, that is the one positive thing that happened during, we are now fully management agreement. We'd started in 2014 and signed a lease, or whether you had to get the space, you sign a lease. So that's what we did. And then lease, and then started, rev shares, management agreements, early version of it. And then said we were management agreements, but it wasn't a real management agreement. And now we're real management agreements through and through. And sticking to the West Coast pretty much. We had a stint in Dallas, as Gio knows, at one point. That was definitely challenging to operate that far away.
And a single location.
Yeah. And, we're real high touch. Our differentiator is we care a lot and we want to get into every detail and we want to be there every day. And it's just hard to do, when you only have one in Texas, when we live on another side of the country.
So was that opportunistic? Was that also a creative deal structure that you did in a market?
No, it was a really aggressive broker that talked him into it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'll save you the trouble, Alex. I'll say.
Alex is like, how do I tackle that question?
Well, let's go back to Jimmy. You're typically pretty good about this, but let's go back to 2014. I mean, that's pretty early on.
Yeah.
In the co-working world. What got you into the business? I mean, how did this all start?
I was thinking you guys, because you're in real estate, I was thinking you owned that building, but it was a lease. And I've been in that original location because, I think we'd done a couple of Lexi meetups. Somehow we were in Portland. I'm trying to remember. It was very fuzzy, but
it's been so many years. Yeah,
I know 2014 is over 10 years ago. That's nuts.
We got bullied into the business, just bluntly.
In 2014? Yeah, do tell.
Yeah, so I'm a recovering real estate broker, was a commercial broker
Yep.
for my life. Jeff was a real estate developer, and we met at where Geo is in the Pearl. And he was developing the building, and I had an investor that wanted to own the building, and brought those two together. And then I was on the leasing team to lease the office space. And we kept running into challenges where we literally couldn't lease it. And it was a great location, great space, didn't subdivide well. And then it was a 60,000 square foot building. So all the tenants that came through, they were too big and they wanted expansion rights. And what happens when we grow 200,000 square feet? They needed to be in a larger project, or the tenants were really small. They would want 500 square feet or 2,000 square feet, and it didn't subdivide well. So we were in this no man's land and couldn't give it away, It couldn't have a product that would meet the market. And then we came up with this idea of like, well, how do we monetize this building for our investor? And we're like, what's this co-working? Who are these WeWork guys? What are they doing in San Francisco? What are they doing in New York with all these co-working spaces? Let's lease to a co-working operator. Like, that sounds like how we're going to get out of trouble. And then we tried to lease to WeWork. One of the co-founders was from Oregon.
Oh, yeah. Miguel, right? Yeah.
Yeah. They looked at it, but said, hey, we're coming into Portland. Anyone you put in there, we're going to put out of business. We're going into 200,000 square feet. And we kind of got
Not only are we
excited
going to
about-
take your location, we're going to eat your lunch when we get there.
Yeah,
That's what they said. Yeah.
we're just really excited about, wow, this really could be something here. Let's go get another operator.
Okay.
And we started trying to attract operators. There were none in Portland, but
And in
Seattle.
2014, that was still pretty early.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed more Regis.
Oh, sure.
A
Yeah.
few WeWorks, not in Oregon at the time. And we're always kind of like the last stop for new things. But yeah, couldn't get an operator to lease a space that, kind of met the criteria of building and our partner. And we felt confident endorsing. So we went to the owner and said, well, this is what you should do. Like, we can't lease it. You guys should do this. And here's the floor plans. Here's the pro forma. Here's the marketing plan. And like,
Nice.
I'll help you lease it. Like,
Yeah.
no problem. This will be great. You're going to do this. You're going to do really well. And he's like, you sound really confident. Like, you guys need to do this. And we're like, no. This is not what
That's not what we do. Yeah.
And so got bullied into it and did the one. And then we kept seeing the same problem come up from other developers, other clients that I had in town. Hey, really liked what you did in the Pearl with CENTRL. Can you do it in our building? Doesn't subdivide well. It's too small. We can't monetize it. And this was in a good leasing market, still couldn't monetize it. And we'll show you everything. Here's the stuff. Here's our office R&D, guys. Here's the marketing plan. Like, here's how you do it. Here's our ad person. All the tools. And they kept coming back saying, well, we really don't want to do this. This is a lot. Like, this is a fully dynamic operating company.
Yeah.
We just do it.
We don't do marketing. That's your job, right? Yeah.
So then we got to talk to another one and still doing leases, but it was in Portland and it was pretty manageable.
Oh, right. So not only that's interesting because did you not feel at the time, could you have gotten some sort of partnership structure?
No. In 2015,
only a lease and you're doing it. Yeah.
Well, because we'd say, hey, this is crazy. Like, why are we guaranteeing rents and we're not occupying the space, we're reletting it? Just in the broker mind, it's a good model when you can fill it and you can arbitrage it.
Yeah.
And you can get a good lease rate. And we kept getting that. We kept getting crazy lease rates, crazy TI packages.
Yeah.
And so we're like, well, yeah, this works. We know this town. We know all the tenants. We know what's going on. It doesn't take up a lot of time to do this as like a side thing. and it helped with brokerage, pipeline and tenants that were, growing outside of the space. And then as we started to think about, well, are we a co-working company now? Like, we doing more of these? It seems crazy to me. I get people do it, but it seems crazy at scale to guarantee rents when you're
Mhm.
letting the space, no matter what kind of arbitrage you're running. And things change, demand changed,
Yeah.
the build outs changed,
Sure.
markets
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
And so it just wasn't
All for the
our
worse,
deal.
basically. Yeah.
So we wanted to go, oh, well, it should be like hotels. This should be, how do
Yeah.
HMA work? Like, how do they set it up? What's key money? Like, how does that world work? And then luckily, like, it everything started progressing that way, and we were just, slightly ahead of the curve, but trying to learn the whole way. And then we had done some management agreements, rev shares, that we hadn't thought through everything or hadn't, seemed paranoid bringing it up. But now we have the experience of really experiencing like why things should be set up a certain
Yeah.
way. How do you get everyone fully aligned? Like, how should the nitty gritties of it really work?
Okay, so you say management agreement, which isn't common, like that it's a true management agreement, but is that your model? Like just a fee? Like you have no liability, or how do you like to structure your deals?
Yeah. So our customer is the building owner
Yep.
now. And we are very clear with that, with all of, hey, I got a space, should be co-working space. That's what we flush out, right out of the way with prospective properties is we're working for the building owner, and everything is structured around that concept, and not this like, hey, we just don't want the risk. Like,
Yeah.
there's some where it's like, we don't want any risk. And so how do we have it risk free? We want to be fully aligned with the success of the space. We want to be fully aligned with the building owner and not have our value really captured, confined to the four walls of the space. And we don't care if someone outgrows the space or a tenant that they're building out, the building across the street that they own needs space while their TIs are happening. We want to run the space and keep them as happy as
Yep.
possible and have our fee structure, have our promote structure, have everything centered around that concept. So yeah, we do it for, we have a top line fee that we charge the percentage of revenues. We have minimums to those. Say, hey, there's no one in here, then, we're still able to cover our costs.
Yep.
And then we have a promote structure so that, yeah, the space does well, we do well. And we start
Yep.
to capture our real profit once we start to get into that
Yeah.
promote. So we don't want to run spaces that don't have anyone in them. That's not good for us long term.
Yeah.
So, but we, try to cover our costs, because with all of that, we're not getting the fatter arbitrage
Yeah.
that you want on a pro forma.
Yeah.
Leases are
Totally.
doing well. So we can run on low profit margins because the risk is lower, and we don't constrict the rent, because that's the other thing is, well, we want more skin in the game. Owners will say, well, I want skin in the game. We want you to, front all these costs, front
Yeah.
TI costs,
Yeah.
building out a space. Like, well, we need to capture that. Like, we can't run it for, 10%, for you of top line.
Yep.
We have to get 20, 25, 30% profit margin, off
Yep.
of the gross revenues on this. So where do you think that's coming from? It's coming out of rent. And then to maximize rent for them, like, try to get fully aligned with us to run it as skinny as possible.
Yep. Do you take the liability of OpEx? Like, do you come to the table with that, or does the landlord handle all operating expenses like staff, et cetera?
Yeah, we do on some, but then it's got to come out of somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
usually when we show them the options, it's like, all right, well, I'm already deep in the building anyway. I need to maximize rent.
Yep.
So it's really not that much more risk for them. So
Yep.
It's all just a waterfall, right? Where's the waterfall?
yeah,
What did that come out like? So last couple locations you've opened have been in LA, correct?
yeah, LA's, don't tell anyone, but yeah, LA is a great market. Constantly impressed with the the demand for, both traditional co-working with 1, 2s, 4s, 6-person offices that we traditionally build, to constantly amazed by enterprise, demand. And, we've been doing bigger and bigger spaces that are still small in commercial real estate, but big and small compared to what WeWork was doing.
Yeah.
And maybe some other operators. We're not doing 30,000 square foot enterprise space. We'll do 1,500 to 5,000 feet, and traditional tenants coming from 2,500 to 10,000 feet that are compressing down into that. And every time we sign one up, I'm always asking, like, why are you here? And like, what do you mean? Like, no, literally, why did you choose this over, like, break down the whole decision-making process, the math for me. I'm amazed at that demand and how it's been developing. So,
And why do you think that's sort of not specific to that market, but why is it stronger in LA?
I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Yeah, because we operate in LA, Sacramento,
Yeah.
soon to be San Francisco, Seattle, Portland, and
Wait, San Francisco proper? Where are you going to be in San Francisco?
well, it's still a secret.
It's still a
It's not
secret.
signed
Okay.
yet. Yeah.
Okay. Is it in the city?
Yes.
Okay.
He was hoping to be able to talk about it by the conference, but I don't think it's
Okay.
going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, so we see enterprise demand in those other cities, but not like LA. And yeah, our largest user is in downtown LA. Urban environment, not immune to urban challenges.
Yeah.
It's in a great building, but it's also in an area. It's right across the street from the Arts District. That's 50% vacant.
Yeah. Interesting.
Submarket. And then LA as a whole, still 25% vacant market. There's cheap
Wow.
sublease options.
Right.
So it's not like Miami.
Yep.
It's not like some of these, tighter markets, or even Manhattan,
Yep.
where, the 5,000 square foot traditional spaces are becoming really tight. So yeah, we're trying to quantify it of, well, how can we predict this more instead of just randomly experiencing?
Mm-hmm.
The big thing there is all the groups coming in, they're compressing. So they're coming from, larger square footage.
Yep.
Even though they're paying a higher rate per square foot, they're, you layer in all of the extras that you have, like that. We're really, it's not just a marketing shtick, like it is equal or cheaper than traditional. And then a lot of times when we just break away from the math, like, okay, why are you doing this? They, really trying to limit their CapEx going in. And even when it's an experienced real estate team, just constantly they're writing a blank check for once they sign a lease. Like, oh, this is what we think it's going to cost to build, but they always over budget on the furniture. They're over budget on the TIs, like all the vendors they forgot about, like everything's over budget always. So they want to go in for one request.
Yeah.
Or this is what we're going to spend for the next 3 years,
right,
upfront and on a monthly basis, and know exactly that it's not going to change.
Yeah.
So we can guarantee that. And then a lot of them keep coming back, and in LA especially, like, we just like the vibe. We like the vibe here.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, do you like the coffee? You like the programming we do? You like the staff? Like, just like the vibe.
The vibe. I like it. I like it because it's a little secret saucy. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, if you can't really describe it specifically, it's hard for other people to recreate it. So you've got the vibe.
We're trying to become conscious of our competence is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, we're trying to break this down exactly what.
How do we make the vibe?
Yeah.
How do we recreate the vibe? Yeah.
So I've got a question. As far as your conversation with landlords, how has that evolved over the last, we'll just call it just the last few years, right? On the panel with you is actually Jamestown, which is a big landlord. So talk about kind of how those conversations gone with landlords in general, the ones that have worked out and the ones that haven't, is because I think that's part of it is we're having to re-educate the entire market from multiple standpoints, right? I was just in Denver for ULI Flex Council last week, and part of the conversation is around what is the valuation on co-working, right? And that's on a traditional deal. It's not even a management deal, right? So kind of how How are those conversations going? What's the discussion been?
Yeah, it's not easy because you can't. Hey, what? Yeah, I get a co-working operator in here on a management agreement. What can I sell the building for? Like, what's kind of cap rate do I assign to it? Will my lender get on board with it? That's like, you know, it depends on the lender. It depends on who's buying it. I mean, there's not a lot of track record still. We found success with owners in those conversations and try to flush it out at the beginning. Hey, everyone wants to lease to Google. Do that. Do that first. Don't talk to us. We're not presenting ourselves as the dream scenario for a commercial office building.
You're the plan B.
Yeah. Same way we got into it. We weren't our first choice. So just acknowledging that, like, it kind of disarms everyone. Like, this is no bullshit. Like, we're just, we're here to monetize your space if that's what you need. And acknowledging like what value we bring to the table and what value we don't bring to the table. And then the most success we've had, Jamestown included, is that deal we did in 2019, where we opened it in 2019 with them.
Is that an LA partnership?
That's in downtown LA and Little Tokyo. And same thing as we, continue to talk with them about doing more together is we're a great fit, and co-working on a management agreement, that template, I believe with regardless of the operator, is a great fit when the owners are thinking about doing it themselves and see the real value in having it in the ecosystem of their building, of the individual asset or the portfolio. And we're really starting to see the effects of the value that brings, with Jamestown, and then also with Continental Development that we operate in South Bay, Los Angeles. And so we've got 60,000 feet, soon to be 100,000 feet in a campus of theirs that's, a couple million square feet.
Wow.
Different, buildings kind of throughout the South Bay area. But it's a shock absorber, for a lot of these owners for sourcing tenants that they otherwise wouldn't have attracted to traditional space that grow out of it into their portfolio, into triple net leases or, fixed long-term leases. And then one's going the other way too, with groups that they would have lost, that
right.
future is uncertain with their business, or their return to office plans are all over the place. They don't know what they need to sign a lease for. So they're the next 2 years, they're going to try it out in flex, or straddling both spaces with, more people trying to get into and figure out tenant experience management. Like, it's really hard for someone to come in and just do tenant experience management when they have no other operation in the building. But co-working, is good. It's efficient for us to try to do it when we have a full-blown location, right there. So I think as owners start to see that, then the conversation's a lot easier. All the locations we're working on now are repeat locations with existing owners. And, it's been, reinforcement on both sides of like, this, we're still quantifying exactly, but we know that this is working overall for the big picture, and not just like a rounding error in what, they want to try to do, but, continue to develop more.
I have a little bit of a tactical question, but how do you, since you grew up as a commercial broker, how do you fit the brokers into these deals? Like, does the leasing agent get sort of like pushed? How do they get compensated?
Listing broker or like a tenant rep broker?
Yeah. Sorry, the listing agent.
Both.
Yeah, or both, right? But yes, but more, I mean, because the listing agent, now you're doing repeat deals, so it may look different. But you first go in there, right? Like, they're expecting to get paid, and then you show up and you're going to do a management deal. How do you think about compensating the listing agent?
So the listing agent, they'll get paid, sometimes on some deals up front or over time, depending on
but like sort of equivalent to what they would have gotten if it was a lease.
It's still kind of wild west.
I know, that's why I'm asking.
And a lot of it is like,
not many people have an answer. I asked Mark Goldfinger, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't I don't have a good answer for you. So it's a little bit deal
Yeah, we
dependent.
have had deals where they've been paid full market.
Yeah.
Full
For
market
not
commissions.
doing much. I mean, they're adjacent to the deal, but
Sometimes they'll force you into a deal, or I mean, sometimes they have been the catalyst for a deal.
okay.
And but usually, it's building owner, is kind of gone off on this on this. But no, I mean, we want to make sure that they get compensated for work that they may have been spending and did they just sign on? Did they been working 3 years on it? Like, no one wants to stiff anybody.
Yeah.
And then, but also that, recognizing, hey, I can't capitalize this lease. There's no lease. And then on the tenant rep side, I mean, we pay a lot. I mean, we pay the market rate 10% on the first year, 2% thereafter. And we tell them, like, hey, don't do anything. We want to make this easy for you.
Yeah.
We don't
bring
want
us
to
the
steal
lead.
your client.
Yeah.
We're not stealing them. We're not in this to steal them forever. But let's make it real easy for you. So get them down here for the tour. We'll take care of everything else. Send us an invoice.
Yeah.
And we want to just make your tenant happy. So.
And so part of it, I mean, have these been takeovers? They new builds? I mean, what exactly is the overall development of
all of the above? And for anything, besides just continuing our education of co-working and flex space and how to do, we don't claim to do anything perfect. So it's, comparing notes of how other people have built it and trying different things and, seeing where it goes. It's also just being entertained. So we've done all the above. We've built out original space. We've modified the space, second gen space. We've taken over a former WeWork. We've taken over another independent operator space in LA. We've adapted them over time. So all of the above. And even the ones that we originally built, 6 or 7 locations we've originally built, first gen, all of our spaces are different. So we really kind of embrace individual identities to properties.
Part of the vibe.
One look. Yeah. Yeah. So Gio, you're in the Pearl, and that was our first one. And then I'm in Little Tokyo in downtown LA. Yeah. And they look radically different.
Well, this one doesn't have, I mean, these are just rolling doors, right? They don't even have tops.
Yeah. Yeah. On the second floor there, we had historic issues. We couldn't, we had mezzanine and we had code issues. We had to have all this open area. They're like, well, we don't want open area. We need private offices. So we did open top offices, just first and last time doing open offices, but we had to do them at that property. So
first and last for anybody listening. Gio, give us, let's get personal.
Let's get personal. Well,
personal.
you're a big outdoorsman in that for sure, right? Talked about some of the hobbies that you have outside of work.
Well, yeah, normally it's skiing and skiing as much as I can, but my daughter got into club volleyball.
Oh, life is over. Wait, how old is she?
She's 14.
I thought you were going to say that.
14.
Yeah.
And I tell all my friends, they're always like, oh, hey, my daughter's younger, thinking about getting into volleyball. I'm like, don't do it.
Run. I know. My daughter's a gymnast, and I'm like, here's how your life's going to work. Every weekend there's going to be a tournament, and it's going to be far enough away. Maybe you don't have to stay over, but maybe you do.
Oh, yeah.
And it takes, it's like the whole weekend. So much for skiing. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no skiing anymore. It's great. I love seeing how, and my son's the same way. And, I get really obsessed with things. So it's like, I kind of embrace it. Like,
you can see, you appreciate,
we're flying to Rio and, Salt Lake City. I'm like, are there not kids our age that we could play with in Portland? But she loves it. But yeah, my friends ask, well, how's volleyball? I'm like, yeah, do not.
Yeah.
If they have interest in anything else, strongly encourage that. So
what have you picked up instead of skiing?
The opposite of what peg me as an outdoorsman. I'm like, what can I do early in the morning when it's dark before I
Before
go
the
to a
tournament
volleyball
starts?
tournament and be active, and you just do it for 1 hour and it gets really efficient workout, has been tennis. So I've never played tennis ever in my life. And then I was playing pickleball all the time, like real estate people play pickleball. And I got sick of people saying like, oh, pickleball was really not quite tennis. And felt it conveniently fit in
Well,
my
okay.
criteria when I
Oh,
put it
yeah.
in a workout. And then I'm like, how hard can tennis be? I mean, it doesn't look that hard. I could play pickleball and I could run around and it got good hand-eye coordination, but it's shock. Do you guys play tennis?
I had played, but
So you're bringing me back. I took some lessons once, and as an adult, a younger adult, and I do remember getting frustrated because I thought I should be a lot better at it. Well,
Yeah.
imagine that.
Shockingly hard. So
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
kind of one of those it's so finessey. I mean, there's fitness involved, but like
Yeah.
I've normally, skiing got a lot of finesse, but I was a big cyclist for a long time in college, competitive racing. And now it's like direct input, output. I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely like, limitations of someone's body and the VO2 max you have and cardio capabilities, but you bike more, you get faster.
Yeah.
And with tennis, like I feel like I play tennis all the time and you maybe get better and maybe not. And then you play against these people that, I haven't played for 20 years. And then you play against them. I'm like, what the hell? Like, you're amazing.
Wait, so you roll into Reno for a volleyball tournament, but you have to find like a tennis club? Do they take like day passes? How are you doing this on the road?
That's the one downside I've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's home court only. Yeah.
Yeah.
And go.
Mhm.
Yeah. To traveling, I've tried to like when we go to travel, but to get there, I gotta get it reserved. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty hard.
then you got to convince them you're decent enough to want to waste their time with.
Yeah.
There are a whole lot of
exactly.
open court and early in the morning. It's typically guys like Flip that play every single day with the same.
I know
group.
you should play with Flip. I was thinking about that. He's a big tennis guy.
He'd take it easy on you, I think.
Wait, we'll ask your 3 questions about his daughter.
Well, you ask it if you
Okay,
want.
if we asked your daughter, what would she say were her 3 favorite things about you?
Well, she said, I asked her not 3 questions, but a little bit ago, she said skiing. So she's my ski buddy.
Oh, nice.
And ironically, the one keeps me from skiing.
Yeah.
But when we can sneak away, it's usually, the 2 of us.
Okay.
And then, especially during COVID, when they had remote learning, we would go skiing all the time, just together. So, yeah, so we were ski buddies. So
Nice.
her favorite things. The other is probably volleyball, that, come to as many volleyball
That you show up.
matches.
Yeah.
And my wife's she's the lead with volleyball. We try to divide and conquer. So
Yeah.
she's like the number one. And then with my son, who's 12, I'm the number one for baseball.
Okay.
And then we try to go when we can drive.
Cross-pollinate.
To the tournaments. And then we can go. Yeah, but supporting volleyball. And then she's recently said, I've been trying to master pizzas, making pizza at home.
Ooh.
And
That's a worthy pursuit for sure.
she told me 2 nights ago, she's like, this is the best pizza I've ever had. So getting close.
Yeah.
Getting
That's a
close.
compliment from a 14-year-old. I have a 13-year-old. The compliments are not all that forthcoming.
They are pizza connoisseurs. I mean,
Right.
eat
Yeah,
pizza all the
totally.
time, so
That's what I'm
they try
thinking. That's a
everything.
big compliment. I know my daughter eats a lot of pizza too. Nice. Wait, is this in the oven or is this like an uni pizza thing?
That's the next step. Yeah.
Okay.
So my mom has an uni and I try that and it kind of drives me crazy.
It's
It feels
intense.
like it should be as advertised. Like,
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
just
what-
like tennis. You're like, how hard could it
It
be?
is.
And then you do
The
it and you're like,
tennis,
well, why is the
yeah.
crust blowing up? And why did all the ingredients fall off?
And then you
takes
got to go
finesse.
outside. And
You do have to go outside. Yeah.
in
yeah.
Portland,
Mhm.
it rains
That's
a little
dicey.
bit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I don't want to be outside
pizza night.
I
Yes.
go to her house and I'm making the pizza for everyone. And I'm like, well, I'm outside by myself and everyone else is warm inside. And I'm just like the pizza guy. I'm like, this sucks. Like,
What are you making to get outside? Like
The
pizza fountain? Is it?
oh, you never seen an uni?
You have an Udi. Okay.
his mom does.
My mom did. Yeah.
Oh, got it.
So I've been debating it, but I was like, I don't want to be outside cooking pizzas, all the time for everybody. So I've been trying to do it inside. And then you can get a pizza steel and you can put it in your oven. And that has
I
actually,
didn't know that.
I think, better than
Ooh. Okay. That's
and
nice.
you're inside. And
Do you make your own dough?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to make your own dough.
Yeah. I just started that. The trick is you have to well, at least the 00 flour, you have to do it the night before.
Well, yeah, there's some that are like 72 hours. And
Yeah.
some,
You got to do the
some
double
are almost
rise.
24 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So I'm not very good at planning ahead, but I have recently been into making the own. We're big pizza people too. And the uni, you're totally right. And the other thing is when it doesn't come out right, it's like my husband gets very stressed when we have people over and we use the uni. It's so variable.
yeah.
'Cause we're not
Oh,
like
yeah.
experts. I'm very nervous about like how's it going to come out, and and we tend
Pretty
to
high pressure.
it's pressure, which
Because
is not
people are
always
like,
in the mood
ooh,
for
pizza, homemade pizza. And
in this cool outdoor oven. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm curious. You've been doing this for a long time, and there are not a lot of people doing creative deal structures. You're known for your vibe. So 10 years, you've been doing it for about 10 years. Looking 10 years into the future is too far. But what do you think? What are some of your predictions for the next, 3 years? Like, what are you thinking about? Like, maybe macro and also specifically, what are you doing differently in your locations?
I mean, I don't think we're doing anything revolutionary. We are, other than the fact that and we've been told this by building owners, that we want to collaborate with them. We truly want to collaborate with them, and we want to operate flex for them. So that involves not us telling them what to do or what we're doing and sending them notice later, but, to work through everything together. And, I could see in the next few years, like getting, bigger and bigger presence in individual assets and in portfolios, with our owners. And, we're really trying to crack the code on this tenant experience management. And
which would be broader than just your direct membership. Like it's bigger than the people in the space. And what does that look like, and how do you
not just like how to do it the best, but how to do it the best for owners, where it's a great experience for tenants, members, guests, and it adds real value to everyone. That is, you can monetize, you can repeat, they say, hey, it's worth doing this because tenants stay longer, tenants pay more, tenants, don't need as much space, and will pay a higher rate in their traditional office, can really straddle the spaces, like not just do spin classes and do, lounges that no one goes to, but how do you make it so that it really adds long-term value for everybody? So I think continue, very develop that. It's not.
No, I like it. I think,
So going back to your conversation with landlords, I mean, how are they approaching this? I mean, as I'm working with operators, we go through spaces and sometimes, we're seeing more and more landlords with conference and event space in the building. So are y'all looking to manage that on behalf of the landlords too? Spec suites is another big part that operators are now more and more trying to be like, let's try to tie in the entire hospitality into the operation, especially on these management deals. Are those conversations you're having? Is it something you've got an interest in managing as a team? What's the vibe there?
Yeah. Yes. To all of the above, where it makes sense. And how do you operate it efficiently? How do you create the value for them to want to keep it? Hey, these are our expenses and this is how they need to get paid. And then how do you not just pay for those expenses, but how does it, how is it accretive to the whole deal? And why do you need to do any of this? So yes to all of the above. The commonality, seems to be we need to have a presence in the building, and it needs to have, not just run the event space or just run food and beverage or just do the spec suites, but, really having, in an area, maybe not in a specific building, but in the direct area, you have, as much of those as possible, on the menu to be able to run it efficiently.
And what do you,
It's way too expensive, or it's way too crappy of a service, and it really doesn't accomplish anything.
yeah, and I think that's part of the problem is, we've seen these landlords try a lot of these property management amenities, and they just haven't been able to be real successful with the hospitality portion of it. Right. I mean, I don't know if it's just too corporate and rigid, or if they just don't understand it, or what it is. But I mean, we've seen, these property managers try coffee bars and tying in concierge with security and all kinds of things. They just keep missing the mark.
It's hard. I mean, it seems like a really easy thing to solve, but to deliver a service that then gets billed back to the tenants, that the tenants will pay for and see the value in it. Like, and then, control the costs, like to get all those things to actually like work, it's harder than I thought it would be.
I think it's expensive and high touch. Like, we were at the OFS headquarters in Huntingburg, Indiana, and they have this, I hate to be hungry. So they have this like kitchen area that's obviously very nice because it's a furniture company. And also all the snacks you could want, like healthy snacks, hard-boiled eggs, just everything, all the beverages. They even had unsweetened iced tea, which I never see anywhere. Gio was like, where'd you get the iced tea? But and salads. I mean, so it's just open to everyone, grab and go. And I'm thinking like, this is so delightful and also really expensive, and somebody's like, they're paying for that, and it's an employee benefit, very compelling. And I loved it, but also very expensive to pull that off in like a really nice, delightful, to your point, like not too corporate, tons of options. And somebody made us lattes one morning. Like, it was great, but expensive. Yeah. So what's the ROI, and who's willing to pay for it, and how does it all play out? It's what everybody wants. They want to feel that and experience it, but who's paying for it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, question for you, from how you started as a broker and obviously servicing clients within brokerage to now servicing clients that are actually officing with you, and it's a different hospitality experience, right? I mean, you're wine and dining clients technically when you're trying to do traditional leases, kind of like you were before, versus now you're whining and dining clients every day, all day, trying to drive the hospitality and try and really lead that. So, are you enjoying this more than before, or what's the difference in your mind?
I guess it depends on the day. Certainly, it seems a lot easier to do traditional deals. I do feel that flex is not going to take over the whole world, but I think eventually it's going to be, an extremely important segment. And I also think brokerage needs, complete revamp of, it's such a wholesale business. And so really dialing in the retail, portion of it, which is what coworking's, really filled, but expanding that. So it's not just a $2,000 a month office, and having just a way better experience for the whole sales process for even, significantly larger spaces. And then it still just boggles my mind of like, I mean, I know that in brokerage, there's all the stuff you're talking about, the relationships, what tenants are in the market and tenants that are in the market, getting them to come look at other assets, but still the basic marketing channel is a sign, on a building or a sign, in the yard in front of it. And then still, some listings, but why can't you run buildings more like an e-commerce site where all the traffic that's coming in and all the people that are coming in the building, like, knowing who they are and making it easier to interface with them, even if they don't have any intent to buy anything from you that day, but to just be a friendlier environment for being able to start interfacing with people through a variety of different products and then eventually get them to like you and trust you. And when they do have the intent, to buy bigger, to lease 100,000 square feet, you've got a relationship with them. So yeah, I think it's more interesting a lot of times, just being a part of the flex office industry with how it's developing. I mean, because I still don't think we've even scratched the surface of like what this is.
So if we were talking baseball with your son, what inning do you think we're in?
Like the second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's just, I mean, just the step that we're entering in, like when you say how do you prospect properties? It used to be when we did our first management deal, it was a year and a half of why won't you sign a lease or what is a management contract? Like just that conversation was
Yeah.
1.5 years. And now first phone call, Zoom call. Hey, they got this property, should be flex. Like, can you come tour it? No, we're not touring it. We got to talk to the owner. We get on with the owner and yep, I know what a management agreement is. Yep, I know how it works. Yep. Okay, the waterfall. Okay, how do you do it? You 10%, 8%, 7%. Okay, what are your fixed fees? Okay, what are OpEx? Like, they're well educated.
They're speaking the language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's fine. Just with that clicking, okay, it's like that almost feels like the first inning, or it's like okay,
Yeah.
now we're rolling here. So there's
How do you think? I mean, I still talk to a lot of asset owners who do not speak that language. So, although, do you know who's helping? Is our friends at Regis who have signed up 864 partners. They're educating the market, I think, because they're cold calling and just walking people through their deal structure. But how do you think when you get on those Zoom calls, how do they know what the structure might look like and how it might work?
talking to Regis, talking to Industrious, those guys have been great
Yeah.
trailblazers in the
Yeah.
industry.
It's kind of like WeWork starting and educating the market. It's like, okay, great, thanks. Because
Yeah.
maybe somebody wants the independent operator and that's, yeah.
Yeah. So that I mean, use all the ones that the last few ones we've done, we have been up against IWG and
Okay.
Industrious.
Okay.
And,
So it's often an RFP process where you're
mhm.
competing again.
Officially and sometimes unofficially.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So then they've heard, and then another regional operator maybe telling the same thing.
Yep.
So yeah, mob mentality, I guess, of just being bombarded from, multiple people.
Yeah.
Instead of being the only ones. Yeah. So I feel like the third inning is, one of your earlier questions is like, how do we go? You start talking to some of these lenders,
Yeah.
and getting the lenders educated. Because you've seen it.
Go ahead.
We've seen one of the core reasons that we did this on a small building in Portland, Oregon, where we thought this was a good idea was, and we had, the few times we were really close to leasing the building it was one tenant. And we're like, well, that's great. But then there's no granularity, the rent roll or diversity of it. And yeah, in the depths of COVID, when people are, locked up and not going anywhere and, then that ran through and no one's going back to the office. We saw buildings, like everywhere, like empty out, 0% occupancy. And, the worst we ever got to was like 50% occupancy.
Yeah.
So just having the granularity, I feel like is something lenders need to understand. So
So we'll end it on the 3 things your son loves most about you. What would those 3 things be?
Pizza. He's also
There's a good overlap.
Yeah, totally.
best pizza ever. Baseball, so I'll geek out to baseball with him, and this has been new. I played baseball like 3 months in my entire life when I was in 2nd grade, and hated it. And then he got into it like 3 years ago, and same thing with volleyball. Like, we're all in. Like, hey, you like this, I like it, let's do it. So just I'm like, are we Padres fans? Are we Dodgers fans? Like, trying to geek out with him with baseball. And he's got access to one website, and it's ESPN. So he is like, if you ever have sports questions or statistics, or
He's your
if
guy.
like the best hitter, or even the NBA, I mean, he knows more stuff than anyone I know about sports. But it's all just, geek out with him and listen to him, ramble about it. And then I think currently his favorite thing is I let him sign up for a PlayStation account. He's now got access to all these video games. So he reminds me daily. He's very excited about that.
Nice.
That's awesome. Well, excited to see you next week.
Yeah.
2 weeks. In 2 weeks. So I think the week that we're actually in San Francisco is probably when this is going to air, huh?
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
So
Totally.
we'll be waiting.
I can recycle some of this material, and it won't.
Yeah.
Coming out. So
Yeah.
so excited to see you, and thanks for bringing Jamestown and the other Alex to make it nice and confusing to have that conversation. But Alex H, please answer this question. So we'll have to be careful with that.
Who's the other Alex?
Jamestown.
Oh, Jamestown is the other Alex. Okay, cool. I'm excited about that. Cool.
Who's an expansive grad.
Ah, nice.
An expansive Northwestern alum.
Mm.
Those programs. So
Yeah.
knows the industry pretty well from our side. So
Awesome. Cool.
perfect.
Thanks, Alex.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course.
See you guys.